everyone, today I'm going to be filming a video about something a lot of people with eating disorders may struggle about, which is thigh gaps. I forgot what I was going to talk about for a second. Sorry I haven't filmed for so long. My last video was my anorexia story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it or found it helpful. It took me a while to film that video, so that's why I took a little break after filming. So yeah, I just wanted to rant a bit today about thigh gaps. Okay, my window's open. Alright, let's see. Thigh gaps. Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying that I've been in recovery for over a year now, and I had a thigh gap, and it's not natural for me. Like, I never had one before my eating disorder. Oh, it's snowing outside. Okay, anyways, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, I haven't filmed since forever. I'm all over the place. Yeah, I sort of still have a thigh gap, but it's like, I'm really close to not having one anymore. And it took me a really long time to accept that, and I'm still accepting that, sort of, but I'm gonna be sort of hypocritical here, and, say what makes sense. Like, okay, everyone has different body shapes and different, like, ways of being composed, and what I realized is that the majority of people do not have a thigh gap. Like, actual women, people that have kids and stuff, they don't really have that very often, and if they do, it's like, sometimes people can have skinnier legs than you and you won't have a thigh gap. Like, I've been seeing people with thinner legs than me, but their thighs are touching, and mine aren't, but my legs are bigger. So, I mean, thigh gaps can't be a deciding factor of your health and, like, of your thinness either. Like, when I was at the hospital, there were some girls that did not have thigh gaps, but were there and really, really skinny. So, like, it really depends on the person and their body type. Like, for me, it's really not natural for me to have a thigh gap. No one in my family is like that, and they all have really muscular thighs, and we, like, carry all of our weight in our thighs, and, I mean, there's nothing I can do to change that, and, like, I'm living proof that because, like, I've been in recovery for over a year, and honestly, I haven't changed what I've eaten the whole time. I have never eaten dessert. I have never eaten pasta, except for when I was in the hospital, which wasn't a lot. Butter, stuff like that, only in the hospital. And I wasn't in the hospital for that long. I have honestly just gained my weight on protein, whole wheats, vegetables, fruits, honestly. So, like, the thighs that I'm getting now, I don't know if this makes any sense to you, like, the thighs that I'm getting right now, they're, like, all muscle, and, I mean, it's just normal for me to be built like that. And I remember the first time around that I got a thigh gap, because I had a really big relapse, I guess you could say. The first time that I had a thigh gap, I had a really hard time accepting that it was gone the first time I recovered, and, like, it sort of freaked me out. It was really hard to accept, but I was a lot younger then. I was 16, and I'm 18, and, like, now I sort of realize that, I mean, thigh gaps mean absolutely nothing. And, like, not until too long ago, I used to be like, thigh gaps are the deciding factor of my weight, and, like, I am directly fat if I don't have a thigh gap, and, you know, I'm realizing now that I'm still not back at my normal weight, and I am almost not having a thigh gap, like, legitimate. Like, honestly, let's just say that I don't have a thigh gap because my thighs are basically touching. And, I mean, like, from the belly button up, I haven't really changed that much, so it really depends on where the person carries their weight, and, yeah. I don't really know what else to say. Like, if you guys are freaking over your thigh gaps, I know I've been there. But, you know, you just have to accept that people are built different ways and that some people have thigh gaps, some people don't. And, like, really take a second to, like, observe around you. Like, the majority of people aren't like that. And, like, okay, I don't want to sound, like, superficial or anything, but, like, the majority of guys like a girl with a butt, and usually a lot of the times, you know, big thighs come with big butts. And so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with big thighs and big butts. I mean, not like it's bad or anything, it's just like, it's sexy. Like, I don't know, I've been sort of realizing that, because I went out last weekend, and I was like looking at other people around me, and I was like, wow, I look like a little girl. Like, I don't know, for me, I associate thigh gaps with my butt, and like, when I had a thigh gap, I had no butt, and I looked like a little 12-year-old girl. At least now I have a butt, and, I mean, my thighs are bigger, but it's like, I was there before, and like, when my thighs touched, I still thought I was fat, so either way, I'm gonna think I'm fat, so I might as well just, you know, try to carry on my life hating my thighs and not really caring. Like, I haven't really looked at myself in the mirror for a while, but I just did today, and I saw that my thighs were like basically touching, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And there's nothing I can do about it, because like, honestly, I'm not a binger. I've never like binged on like dessert and stuff. I have not eaten a cookie in like over a year. Forget about cake, ice cream, and all that stuff. And like, so obviously, like, if I think really rationally, the weight that I've gained is not, it can't be from unhealthy foods. And so my thigh gap has to be my lack of thigh gap has to be healthy. So I just don't want you guys to like freak out over the fact that your thighs are touching or not, because it makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's just as like stupid as saying that, you know, if I don't know, like, I don't know how to think of a really good example, but like you can't decide if someone's fat or not if like their thighs are touching. Like, you can't decide if someone's like, I don't know, like, when I think about it now, like, looking back, it's so irrelevant to, like, anything. Like, I don't know, you can't say that something is good or bad if it's not touching. Like, it's stupid, and not everyone with a thigh gap is skinny, and not everyone whose thighs are touching is fat, you know? And just because your thighs aren't touching doesn't mean that you're skinny. Like, there's a whole, like, what's the word? Scale, like, on this. Like, you can be really, really skinny, and your thighs can be touching still, and then there's the people in between, and, like, all that stuff. So, basically what I'm trying to say, well, this is long for, like, a rant. Basically what I'm trying to say is that, if your thighs are touching, good for you. If your thighs are not touching, good for you. And, like, as long as you're healthy, no one cares except for you. Like, honestly, no one cares if your thighs are touching or not. That's basically my rant. I mean, if any of you guys try to argue with me that thigh gaps are significant, or that they determine your weight or your thinness or your BMI, you know, like, just don't. Like, you're gonna lose. Like, I am so over thigh gaps. I'm saying that now. I'm probably gonna, like, there's probably gonna be some days that I'm like, oh, I don't have a thigh gap anymore, I wish I did. But, you know, that's the eating disorder speaking, so I'm, like, so over that. Like, I just, like, I'm not even eating pasta and stuff, and I don't have a thigh gap anymore. So, somewhere along the way, I gained weight, or muscle, or both, and it's whatever, because, I mean, you have to tell yourself that thigh gaps mean absolutely nothing. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm telling you right now, it means absolutely nothing. Like, me, okay, look at me. All you guys that are watching me, I do not have a thigh gap, okay? Okay. So, like, don't. It's not cool, okay? Thigh gaps aren't out. Unless you have it, like, naturally, then that's in. I mean, okay, healthy is in. Eating disorders are out. I guess that's where I'm trying to go with this. So, I hope this made sense to you guys, and, hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. Maybe I'll film an update later. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.